Alright everybody, welcome back to part 2 of our playthrough on Metroid 2 Return of Samus, and once again we are looking to destroy all 39 Metroids without the use of any of our beam weapons. Primarily that's going to be the missile launcher, but of course we can use other things like the bomb and eventually the screw attack here. Now right there, by the way, you notice those are pipes and you cannot climb up them without the use of the spider ball. By the way, here's our first enemy we're going to come across here. Just jump past them when you get a chance when it's safe. Just one little stupid Cobra laser shooter, if that makes any sense. But yes, we're going to continue on moving forward. If you're just jumping in for the first time here, we are now in Section 2. We have destroyed 6 of the 39 Metroids, and we're going to be picking up right where we left off. In Section 2 here, it's going to be mostly a lot of the same enemies that we saw in Section 1. And the Metroids that we saw in Section 1, we're going to have a couple more alphas, and we're going to have a new type of Metroid that we haven't seen yet. So prepare to see all that, plus a few more things here. We are going to encounter quite a few missile upgrades here, but that, of course, is the Spider Ball upgrade we picked up in Section 1. We're going to be using that pretty extensively throughout Section 2 here to get a lot of the missile upgrades specifically here. So we're going to continue moving on through. There is an Alpha Metroid up ahead, if I remember correctly, underwater. By the way, it doesn't really matter if you're underwater here in this game too much. I know if you think back to Super Metroid, it will severely hamper your walking and jumping abilities, but in this game, not so much. To be quite honest with you, I don't know what the purpose of these underwater sections are, so anyone who knows more about this game than I do, and they want to chime in the comments, please feel free to do so. But for the time being, that's another Metroid gone. That's an Alpha. We're down to 32 now, and we have a pipe right above us, and the only way to climb it is with the means of the Spider Ball. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Going to use the Spider Ball, and we're clipping outside of the pipe. Good old Game Boy graphics and glitches. Moving on up, go back to our regular ball here, and we are in the next section. We're now up. We have a missile door, blast through it, and what are we going to have in this section right here? Let's find out. Oh, there's nothing. What do we do? Well, let's go into this section here. Normally, we can go down here at times, and we certainly can here. And what's over this way? There's another section, and it looks like a whole bunch of balls. Maybe some alien Metroids will come out of these balls. Well, I can tell you right now, this is meant to fool us and trick us. If you don't know any better, you'll probably leave that room empty-handed. But if you do know better, or if you're feeling a little fritzy and you want to do some exploration here, go ahead and bomb all of this stuff. Now, you can't bomb that one right in the middle. You have to shoot it with a missile, and here is the Varia suit upgrade. Once again, if you know Super Metroid, you know very well what this is. If not, it is an armor upgrade, and the main benefit to this suit is that it will decrease the amount of damage that you take by half. And I would say even more importantly than that, it will increase the speed in which you can move through the planet. Doesn't matter whether you're on the ground, in the water, whatever. So that's a very nice upgrade to have, and you're certainly going to want to have it when you get into the tougher sections of this game. But that's out of the way. Now we're going to do some backtracking to get back where we were. You can spider ball your way here. We're going to take a nice long drop all the way down. By the way, we do have the means of picking up the wave beam. We're not that far away from it, honestly, but once again, as we all know, we cannot use any of the beams in this game. So sadly, we're going to say bye-bye to the wave beam and not even worry about it. But man, look how fast Samus is moving now, all from that Varia suit. Very, very nice upgrade to have. And wait until you see we're going to combine it with another upgrade that we haven't yet gotten yet. But when paired with the Varia suit, it makes Samus look like she's moving at Sonic the Hedgehog speed to an extent. So this is an excellent upgrade to have this early in the game. And wait until you see the other upgrade that it pairs with, as I said. Alright, right now I'm checking the offline map that I have to see where to go next. And I can tell you that we're going to keep moving over to the left. Watch out for these little water enemies here. But ooh, that's an ugly thorn trap that you've seen early in the game, and you'll see it throughout the next section or two here as well. So as I said, we're going to keep moving over left. Now we're going to head up. Now this is a tricky section that you can't go up because there are some spikes there, but eventually when you get some different upgrades, that won't be a problem. But for the time being, with that spike on the wall means that we cannot use the spider ball to go all the way up there. So instead we're going to have to go this way, climb a long vertical shaft, and go around it just like this. And now check this out. We're going to continue to go up, and we're going to use the spider ball to continue to climb ourselves up here. And there is a missile upgrade here that you can only get by bombing the ceiling by means of the spider ball. And you're going to have to use the spider ball because it's the only way to get up there. There are no speed boots or shine spark tricks. No, it's purely this. So the spider ball does come in handy, and unfortunately, if you screw up, you're going to have to fall all the way down here and try it all over again, unless you are quick enough on the trigger to reattach as the spider ball back to a wall here. It's much, much easier said than done. So we're going to continue to do this, go ahead to bomb the ceiling, and eventually we will get up there. So as tedious as this is, we're going to let it play out, and eventually we'll get through here just to show you how many times you have to bomb through this. And I will say, if we do end up failing this again, we'll probably just have to edit and blast all the way through. Although I do think we managed to get through here this time. You can see how tedious this is. Now we screwed it up. I'm going to go ahead and edit. We'll see you in the end. Okay, finally we get up there, and after a lot of hassle, we finally get the ceiling missiles, and we can drop right back down here. Now, I would caution you probably not to go all the way back down, although we will have to bomb because these blocks do respawn, which I think is incredibly stupid. But hey, as I always like to say, it is what it is. So we're going to bomb back down. Make sure that you have the spider ball equipped before you get back down there. And you're going to see why. We're going to hug the ceiling. We're going to take it all the way up and around to the other side. And there's a very good reason for that. That's because there's another Alpha Metroid up there. So we're just going to hug this, take it all the way up. There should be no fear of getting hit by any other enemies because they're going to be clear on the other side on the far right. Yeah, there's one right there, but yeah, don't worry about it. Just keep going up. So here we go, and you can't go through there, so just keep going up with the spider ball, up, 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 eventually, waiting for the bomb to explode, very, very stupid. All right, here we go, continuing up, and yes, this is the ledge. You're going to get up here, head over to the left, and we will find another Alpha Metroid in here. There's the hatchling pod a little further over to the left, and we're going to find it right there. Fortunately, this is a very easy one to kill, a couple easy shots because of that platform blocking it off there. Very, very simple. Now, you do want to stay in here, particularly if you're low on health. Check this out. Bomb a block. This is a free energy refill, and if you have the energy tank, which I'm sure you do, some of you may have even picked up the second energy tank by this point if you've taken a different path, so this is somewhere you definitely want to go. Don't forget about that energy refill. There aren't any missile refills in Section 2, to my knowledge. There will be one in Section 3, but of course that's much, much further down the line as I continue to check my offline map. So once you get that missile tank and you get that Alpha Metroid out of the way, you're going to jump down here, and you're going to take this all the way up with the spider beam, spider ball rather, go all the way up, and there's going to be another upgrade to Samus's suit that we're going to be acquiring here. It's a very useful one that will prevent you from having to use a ton of bombs. Now we have a very ugly enemy we haven't seen before. We just have to jump over it, and I don't know whether this is shooting spores or music notes. I would assume it's probably spores. We're just going to, unfortunately, I would assume, take the damage here, and we're going to get hit quite a few times jumping over it, but not a big deal. We've got plenty of life. Just a couple enemies that we've already seen a million times, and we waste 2 missiles trying to take a couple of them out. I encourage you not to do what I just did. Don't burn missiles if you can help it, because we have quite a few alphas left, and we're going to have another type of Metroid that we haven't seen yet. By the way, jump in here. Oh, we haven't seen this before. We shoot the pod, and instead of giving us the immediate upgrade, we have an enemy that comes out of it. This is something brand new to the Metroid series. So we're going to have this little snail arachnopod. I don't know what the heck you call this thing. Just keep bombing it. You could shoot it with missiles if you want to, but since we have a limited supply, don't do that. By the way, this is the spring ball, and this is something that you've seen in Super Metroid as well, I assume. The way it works is you roll into a ball, and you can hit jump, and it will bounce you straight up in the air. Just like this. Very, very simple. There will be occasions where you want to use it, particularly in combination with the spider ball. So just to give you an example, a little bit later in this run, we will be showing you, actually in this Part 2 run, we're going to change into the spring ball here, jump, and then immediately at the apex of the jump, turn into the spider ball, and it'll latch onto the wall or the ceiling and prevent us from having to waste a lot of ammo that we would have otherwise had to have done. So that's great. We got the spring ball. I don't know that it's really necessary to get that upgrade, but it's certainly, very nice to have and will save you a lot of hassles by having it in your possession here. Okay, so we've pretty much gotten everything we need from the left section of Section 2, if that makes any sense. So now we're going to do some backtracking, and we have an Alpha Metroid here that we haven't hit yet. So we're going to go ahead and kill this one, and fortunately we have a platform here that we could use to cheese it if we really wanted to, and in fact we will. So that was pretty simple. 5 easy shots, and down it goes. So that takes care of that Metroid. We're down to 30 remaining, 29 plus the Queen. So what are we going to do here? We're going to go down through this section, and it's going to lead us to another area with another upgrade that we don't need, or rather we can't get. And you're going to see what I mean here. So go up, down this next tube. We're familiar with tubes at this point. Now from here we could head over to the left, and this would lead us to a section with the wave beam, which of course we can't get. Wave beam, by the way, is one of the best guns in the entire game in my honest opinion. I just love how it shreds through so many things. But alas, I digress. So we can't go that way. Instead, we're going to go this way. Now here, this is a section where the wave beam could come in handy, but since we can't use it, we're going to very carefully go this way. You could opt to use a missile or two if you really want to, but since we've only got 13 of them, we're going to try not to do that. Instead, we're going to go this way to the far right, bomb down, because there is a section right here you want to move over through. And there is a nice little upgrade here and a nice couple things we're going to be acquiring. So head over to the right, through the false wall. Now you have a long drop in a chasm here. Go all the way down. We have another door that requires 5 missiles to shoot. Make sure you've got them. You absolutely want this upgrade. Check this out. Right here, go ahead and shoot it. Don't miss like I just did. And here are the high jump boots. Yes, this is an absolutely amazing piece of equipment to have. As you could probably guess, this will allow you to jump very, very high. Now you can opt to go down here. Let's see if there's anything down here like hidden missile upgrades or energy tanks or things like that. Sure enough, there is a section you can go over through a false wall, continue over to the left. And what do we have here that we couldn't get? Ooh, my lord, we got 2 things here. So we have a missile upgrade. We're going to go ahead and grab this. We sorely needed that. We're back up to 16. And look up here, we now have an energy tank upgrade. We haven't seen one of these in a while. So now we have full life plus 2 energy tanks. This is very, very nice to have, and that was sorely needed. So that was definitely worth getting. And look at that. The high jump boots, in combination with the spring ball, we are looking really, really good right now. Samus has a lot of mobility, saving us on the need and necessity to use the bombs here, because we can jump a lot higher with the high jump and spring ball than we ever could with 1 bomb. So definitely use that. By the way, on the way back up, you don't even have to worry about, destroying those things on the far right side. Don't waste your time. Use the spider ball and just crawl yourself all the way up. That's all you've got to do. Very, very simple. Up and out of the hole. Now from here, we're going to backtrack completely all the way up. Use a bomb to blow through there, and there's a couple of things you could do. Just high jump your way up here. It's that simple. Now, like I said, you could go into the spring ball, you can go into the spider ball. Whatever you decide you want to do really doesn't make that much of a difference. The important thing is that you do not want to waste missiles. And actually, before we do that, we're going to head over left here. I want to show you something. I believe there are a couple more missile upgrades if we haven't already blown them or missed them already. So let's continue to head over. Yes, in fact, I was incorrect there. So we have 2 missile upgrades. It's a good thing we didn't skip over this. So here's one. That'll jump us up to 25. And this one here will get us up to 35. We're going to burn a missile. Not a big deal because we have 34 now. And if you keep going over to the left, we're actually going to have some more missile upgrades. So it's a very good thing that we chose to go this way and not go all the way back up in a retreat. That would have cost us 40 extra missiles in the grand scheme of things. So go over here, you're going to go straight down this hole, over to the right, just hugging the wall. Ignore these little guns here. And you're going to have 1 extra missile tank upgrade here. Go ahead and grab it, and then you can go ahead and retreat all the way up that pit here. So go ahead. Use your bombs, blow through here. Try not to waste any missiles if you can help it. Get the final missile upgrade. That'll put us at 44, which honestly should be more than enough to handle the remaining Metroids in section number 2 here. So I believe we're in really good shape right now, as long as we don't needlessly waste any more missiles in the process. So you're going to hop all the way up. You could do the spider ball, or you could just do it this way. With the high jump boots, you're in really good shape. Look at how easily Samus can traverse and move across the world right now. That was unfortunate, but we're in really good shape with 2 energy tanks and full life. Don't have to worry too much. Plus, again, Samus has the Varia suit, so all of that damage that she normally gets is now cut in half. We are in excellent shape right now as we approach the latter half of Section 2. So we're going to go ahead and bomb through here, start working our way back up, and I think we can finally get into the spider ball. Yep. Probably the easiest way to do this, because normally you could use a gun or the wave beam here to get yourself up there. So we're employing a pretty tricky tactic. We're going to use the regular ball, spring jump, and then turn into the spider ball at the apex of the jump. Remember, I told you this would be something that would be happening. You definitely want to use it here in lieu of using the wave beam or any other regular beam shots. So that's what we're doing. Turn into the spider ball, blow up the blocks with the bombs, and as soon as you have the opening, you are clear to return back to the regular section here. So we're going to go back over to the left of where we came from, and we're going to continue onward here. Just a little bit of backtracking. And we're going to go down here, over and across, and now we can start working toward the end. But before we do that, this again, right over there is where the wave beam would have been, but since we can't do that, we're going to go back here, and we have to go back up this tube. Now, even though you have high jump boots, you still can't get up there without the spider ball. So we're going to jump ourselves up there with the spring ball, turn into the spider ball, and roll all the way up here again. And once we get back up here, as I said, we're going to start working our way to the latter half of Section 2 and take out the remaining Metroids. There's actually a missile tank that we missed here, but that's okay. We could always come back for it later if we decide that we need it. I really think we're in pretty good shape right now, so maybe we decide to just skip it entirely. I don't know. I like the way we are headed right now. So we're going to continue heading left. The remaining Metroids, I believe we have 4 left to go. We definitely have 2 alphas, and there are 2 of them that are going to be different and stronger and tougher, and we'll talk about those as we approach them. But for the time being, we're going to continue on over to the left and start moving down, and there are those stupid enemies that will home in on you if you give them the opportunity, and we're hopefully not going to. We're just going to keep going over left. This section down below us is the section that we started on when we were going to get the Varia suit, if you remember that part. But for now, we're continuing over left, and instead of going up, we're now going to go down into this little chasm shaft. And we're going to hug the wall and keep going over to the right, and we're going to keep moving ourselves over, and we're going to start working to find the remaining Metroids of Section 2. So keep on moving down. A couple simple enemies we've seen from the surface area, should be fairly familiar with those. Here is a Metroid pod, and here's the question. Are we going to have an Alpha Metroid or a stronger Metroid? It's one of the two. Let's find out. We're going to keep moving over. Keep moving, and what do we got over here? It's another Alpha. I gave you a tease. I thought it was going to be a stronger one, didn't you? Nope, we'll get there eventually. For right now, it's another simple Alpha. 5 missiles will do the trick. Very, very simple. Very, very easy waste of time. Down to 29. I wish every Metroid in the game was that easy. Actually, I don't. It'd be kind of boring and stupid. Alright, we're going to keep moving over. And we're going to move down. Here's another little drop. There's another Metroid hatchling pod there. And we have a sand area here. And this is going to be very, very tedious, unfortunately, requiring a lot of bombs. This is where having the beam would be very useful and beneficial. Unfortunately, because we're not allowed to use it, we are stuck with this. And it's going to take a very long time to bomb through all this stuff. And you're going to see a lot of this in the latter half of this section too. So for that reason, you're going to see me skipping a lot of it until we get to some relevant points. So forgive me while I skip through, and we'll come back in at a more relevant time. Okay, we come out of Hyper Sandy Speed, and look off in the distance of this sand pit. What is that? That is a Gamma Metroid, and as I said, this is one of the tougher ones. This is going to require 10 missiles to kill, so twice as tough as the Alphas, and a little bit more cunning and stronger as well. So take a look here. This one will attack you and come at you, and it will try to shoot you with what looks like a lightning beam of sorts. And you can't shoot it when the lightning beam is being used because it will basically act as a shield defense barrier. Fortunately, this one wasn't too tough. Even though we didn't have a lot of room and it kind of caught us off guard, we had plenty of missiles and we shot it pretty well. So not too tough. Took a little bit of damage there, but it wasn't anything that we couldn't handle. The toughest thing is going to be making sure that we have enough missiles to kill all the remaining Metroids here before we run out. And in this case, we did. We've got about 21 left, which is just enough to finish off the remaining Metroids here. So we're going to conserve what we've got. Fortunately, here's another energy refill. Very, very nice to have. And we're going to continue back over right. And we're going to keep moving all the way over right. And I'll tell you right now, there's another sand pit over there. So we'll see you on the flip side. Man, I can't tell you how tedious this is without a beam, but we finally get through it. Continue heading right, and we're going to have another Metroid over here. This one is another Alpha Metroid, I can tell you safely. Very, very simple. We've played enough of this to see exactly how to take care of it. Try not to fall in that pit if you can help it. That's probably more dangerous than the Alpha Metroid at this point in the game. So we take care of that one, and that knocks us down to 27 remaining Metroids, which means we've only got one more to go before we complete this section, Section 2. And I'll tell you right now, the last remaining one is a Gamma Metroid. So we've seen how that plays out. Bear with me while we backtrack once again through the sand, and we'll see you on the other side. Alright, finally out of the holy desert there, and we're going to backtrack a little bit, go up here, up, back up and around to the right, and our final Metroid is going to be over this way, completely over right side, and we're just checking the off-screen map to confirm that it is in fact over there. Yes, it is. We're going to keep heading right. Here's the Metroid hatchling pod that we've already come past the first time. Keep heading right, and we should be approaching it very soon. We have some simple enemies here, and here's the Metroid pod. Another one. You could opt to kill this enemy here if you need to get some missiles. Now, again, if you're short on missiles, it would be pointless and stupid to waste missiles to get missiles, if that makes any sense. So this is a viable strategy you could use. Use your bombs. Sometimes you'll get them, sometimes you'll just get energy refills. It's really up to you. You could use this as a time to just respawn the enemies here. Do what you want with it. 15 should be enough, considering I'm telling you this is a Gamma Metroid up here. You only need 10, but with 15 in our arsenal left, you have to account for error. So assuming that you miss one or two or one of them get blocked, it might be nice to have a few extra just in case. Because again, you're not going to have another opportunity to refill your missile stockpile until the beginning of Section 3. So just keep that in mind. Keep heading right, and then the final Gamma Metroid should be appearing right over here. Gonna have a nice little battle with him, and we've got 10 plus an extra 5. We should be okay, and let's see how we can get through this one here. As long as we don't shoot him when he's trying to attack us, it's not as difficult as it seems, honestly. I think the toughest part in battles like this right now is falling into these little thorn spike pits. Those are more of a problem than the Metroids themselves sometimes. Fortunately, this is not too tough because look over there, we can just go down there and cheese it if we really wanted to. And it's gone, it's done. We've got 4 missiles left to go, and we got 26 total Metroids left. That should complete Section 2. And sure enough, I believe it did. There's the earthquake signaling the end. We can now move on to the beginning of Section 3. But I will tell you right now, I really don't want to proceed into Section 3 right now and talk about any of the Metroids in there until a little bit later, probably in the next part of this video. I will tell you right now that Section 3 is not going to have any new Metroids in there we haven't seen. It'll be mostly the same enemy types, couple alphas, many more Gamma Metroids than we've seen in Part 1 and 2. So you're going to make sure that you have that missile stockpile completely rejuvenated because you will be needing them. You might even consider refilling on the missiles before you even go in there, or even halfway through Part 3. So before we get there, we're just going to backtrack a little bit over here over to the right, and we're going to save the game, and then we'll see you in the next part of this video in Part 3 when we go on to even tougher sections with tougher Metroids. Thanks for watching. See you then.